Alejandro Loayza Grisi. I'm the director of Utama, and I started my artistic career as a still photographer. I took a class in university. I didn't study cinema, I studied communication and advertisement. But I took a class in which I could do the lab work. So I worked with 35 mm, and it was great. I fell in love with photo and started to take photos. And then when I finished studying, I started to work with my father, who is also a filmmaker. And I started to grab the camera and not only doing photos, but also recording. And I like it also very much. So one thing took to the other, and then I needed to direct, to test some directing and writing, and I started doing mostly music videos, very narrative music videos. And then the idea of Utama came up, pop up, or
yes.
came,
yeah.
And I started to write it.
And Santiago?
Well, I am a producer. I studied first foreign trade and then business administration in Italy. When I came back to Bolivia, I started administrating my father's production company. Mm. And then I saw what the other producers were doing and said, well, I can do better than them. I thought I could administrate the money better, and that's how I got into producing. I started producing my father's projects. I mean, commercials he was doing and documentaries he was into. And then that's how I started in production. A couple of years after that, I went to Spain to do a master degree in production, so in audiovisual management and production. So that's how I closed my formation. I don't know how to say it.
Your vocation, in a way. I understand. So there was never an inclination for either of. There was never an inclination for you, Santiago, to be directing.
No, actually, I remember the first time I was on set on one of my father's movies was when I was 10 years old. It was an amazing thing. The second time I was a little bit older, I was like 18, but I don't even remember what camera they were using. I was not interested in that. I never thought I would end up doing what my father did for a living. It just happened, and I'm really happy it did happen that way.
So can you guys tell me a little bit about the filmmaking situation in Bolivia?
The film industry is a growing industry. It's not a consolidated industry like in other countries, but it's an industry that's growing, and it has new generations that are really pushing up to it. We got lucky because 2 years ago it was the first fund of Bolivia, an exceptional fund. We don't have it today, but we did have it 2 years before. So we are happy to win it, and not only us, are 15 or 20 new movies from Bolivia coming up for the next years. So it's like a small boom. It happened with the Bolivian cinema. So I hope that not only with us, but with other colleagues, that Bolivian cinema is going to be spreading around the world a little by little, but it's going to grow, I hope.
But that fund no longer exists, did you say?
Yes, it was a fund that the former government did because there was an election year, so they did it for political reasons. But they don't have the money for the next year. But we are fighting for have it in a more institutional way, so we can have it by the years. So yeah, we work with co-productions. We do what we can, but.
And being a very small industry, one thing that has Bolivia for us, for workers, is that we do everything. So you're in a very small crew, and I did focus pulling, I did cinematography, I did as assistant director, script, So that was very good for me as director because I learned very for from all the areas, and it gave. I think it gives me a good advantage when directing. I know all the areas. I have worked in all the areas, so that's a good thing about having a small industry. And also another good thing about having a small industry is that people do movies with love, with nothing else but love. It's not yet quite yet a business, so people puts everything they have when we're doing a movie.
Did you find that contrasts with the European idea of the industry, the business of movie making?
I think the essence is always the same because it's storytelling and everyone wants to tell a story for a particular reason. But I'm just trying to look the empty glass, the full glass, not the empty glass of having a small industry, because it's not always good because you lack of experts in every technical crew. So it's not always a good thing, but I haven't yet made a movie or a commercial or short film or outside, so I don't know how different it is.
I understand.
Like,
so tell me, how did you come to hear about Podium Sud?
a friend of mine told me, he sent me the link, and yeah, that's how I learned from it. He was also in Podium a couple of years ago, and he suggested me. He knew I was writing the movie, and he sent me the link. It was a great thing.
And what was your aim when you applied? What, you mentioned before, Santiago mentioned that, so we look for, because it's a small industry, we look for co-productions and so on. Was it because you were looking for a co-production partner? Was it for script development advice? Was it for packaging? What was it that you were wanting when you applied for that or expecting?
When we were applying for Podium Sud, the project was just an idea.
Yeah, as Santiago mentioned, the movie was. I had written a lot of synopsis and treatment, but it didn't have a script. And we also discussed it a lot with Santiago, the film, the movie. But once we got selected in producer, we knew it was for real. We knew we had to do it. So we wrote. I wrote the first version of the script because of producer. And probably if I didn't get selected, because I'm also comfortable doing photography. So it's not that I had I had the urge, but if it didn't work, I probably wouldn't have tried it more. So probably if it wasn't producer, probably the film never existed.
Wow. So did you write the script for the application to Produire Sud, or once you had been accepted on the basis of a treatment?
Once we got accepted.
Yeah. So once you knew you were going, you wanted to take a script with you that you could get feedback on.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, so tell me about the feedback you received. Was it helpful? Tell me about how that went for you.
Well, it was the first time anyone wrote the project, so it was a great and the first experience for us in a lab. So the feedback was great, and one thing that has a good system in producer is that the producer has his own feedback, and the script writers have their own work. So it was very good because at the end of the day, we went together and we talked about it. And it was also great being in Nantes for all the time for 10 days, 2 weeks, I don't remember. But the whole time we were working in the movie, we were talking about the movie, and it was great being together with the producer.
I would have thought that given that you're brothers, that you would have lots of time to be together. But it seems to me that in what you said, that it was still valuable for you two to be put together in that way.
Yes, absolutely, because we were there for the movie. And when we're here, we're brothers. We have lunch many days a week together. We work together, but it's not the same. You speak you speak about many other things, about politics or soccer or I don't know, many things. So when we were there only for the movie, it was 14 days or 10 days just for the movie. And it was great because we were also having feedback and we shared what and the opinions. So we were two there to talk about the feedback you get, because I was in other labs as a script writer, but I was alone. So it's a work you're doing alone, and it's much better being with the producer because the project grows with two heads much more.
Do you want to say something about that, Santiago?
I totally agree with my brother, and actually helped when we had a discussion between us. We said, okay, let's see what the other think, because there were some points that we would never agree on because we think, even though we're brothers, but we have many different opinions, many things. So we said, okay, let's see what outside people think of that. So that was really helpful for us because it helped us to unlock some points that were blocking the development of the project.
I understand. Yeah, just have that third eye. And is this the first time you've worked together on a project?
No.
It's not the first time we worked together, but we worked together for films for my father, and also many things we do here, like music videos or commercials. But in a movie, it was not the first time.
And what about during the workshop? You know, as you said, there's sessions for producers, sessions for directors. If you could each tell me what you found the most helpful.
Something that I really liked about being in France is that we could see what other people from other countries, from other cultures thought about our project. So that was a really good insight for us to know if our project is likable in other countries, in other cultures. Especially for me, it was important to see what other producers thought about the project, if they saw a potential selling, some selling points about it, or if they thought it could be screened outside our country. So that was really valuable for us because we had to hear the opinion of great script consultants, great producers, it was a great team of consultants in Nantes that gave us really good feedbacks and gave us really good ideas to make the project be come true.
Okay. So for you, it was having that outside eye from the European industry that was the most useful. And what about you, Alejandro?
For me, I think the two sessions with the script consultants were great, and also they were great because we first heard about our colleagues, and I think it was scheduled for the end of the work of the week. So I was thinking about the movie and working the movie in my head, and the final sessions were with the script consultants, and they were great. They were very long, and we had chance to talk about everything, and they were very well prepared, and the atmosphere was great in that library in the second floor. So I think for me the best thing was to hear the script consultants, and it was like Santiago mentioned. It's always different to hear it from a person from another culture. You can have great feedback from people from your country, but I think you need both of them. A feedback from an expert from your own country and an expert from other cultures.
But the script itself was written in English?
No. No. Every versions of the script were written in Spanish and then translated.
I understand. And so how did you deal with feedback that you got in English?
I think we worked in general ideas and general aspects of the script that were, it doesn't make a difference if it's in English or Spanish. And we didn't work on details. And also the good thing about feedback is that you get to choose what feedback do you take and which one you don't. So if I knew there was something that in my culture works, I can explain it to the consultants and say, okay, I understand, but it's different because of this and this and this. And I think movies will always have that kind of details where there's a specific thing about a culture, and maybe also in comedy it's very common to see that because there's jokes that are referenced only to your country and others can work in the entire world, but I think that's the beauty also of cinema.
And tell me then, Santiago, you said that it was really valuable to know, to get the feedback on the project and get a sense of its capacity to work in the European market or internationally. What about on a purely sort of, production, financing level? Were there things there that were useful to you?
They help you to, in a way, to land and think and know the dimension of your project, and they guide you to, they give you good advice on where to apply, where not to apply. I say landing because when you have a project, you're dreaming, you're living in the skies and in the clouds, but then when somebody from outside tells you, okay, this is your project, then you really start landing and knowing how big it can be, how small it can be, or how far it can go away. And that's the reality check that you need. And it can only give, not only, but it's really good when other producers say to you, and also other screenwriters, and also hearing what your other colleagues are doing, because sometimes something about screenwriters, they think that their idea is unique and the best in the world, but then you start hearing great ideas from other countries in the world, and some others so different and so other have so many similarities that it's great to land and to see what the reality of not only your project but other projects, and it really helps you to understand where you can go and what you can do with your project.
And did you make a good network amongst you and the other participants in the workshop?
Yes, definitely. As I was saying, you don't not only learn from all the consultants you have, but also from the colleagues, because you hear their stories, you hear their backgrounds, and you also learn a lot from them, and that's what I think is really valuable of Cultura Sud as well, because we were from 6 countries so different from each other, but with many similarities at the same time. I know if I'm making myself clear, but the networking was great, not only to know people and have connections, but also for learning from them, learning from other cultures and learning from other realities. And then if we pass to the production area, financing area, there was this pitching forum that we had, and we pitched the project to other producers from France, and then we got to know producers that were not part of Cultura Sud but were interested in the projects, and thanks to those producers we got to know other colleagues, and it was a really good network. I think we got the most of Cultura Sud as we could get.
Have you remained in touch with these people? in contact?
Yes, we did.
And I think it's a good thing because you can reconnect as well. So we met in Nantes in Podium. And it's also a good thing that Podium is during the festival, because you can also meet people that are there for the festival, and you can watch a lot of films. So that was also great. Your week is all about cinema. Those days are all about cinema.
And also thanks to the connection we got of Podium, thanks to Guillaume and we got to sell our project. Utama was sold to a French sales agent, and then to a French distributor, thanks to the connections we got in Produra Sud. So that's why we got really lucky with Produra Sud, I think.
Tell me more about that. I hadn't realized that it was directly related to that. How did that come about? Tell me how you got the sales agent and the distribution deal.
Guillaume told us that a sales agent wanted to see the project, and if it was okay for us to send him a link, and then to the sales agent, and we said, okay, of course, it's fine. So we sent him the link, and he told us, okay, if that sales agent likes your movie, I would really strongly recommend that you accept it, because I really trust that person. And fortunately for us, the sales agent liked the movie, and they took the project, and we said yes, because we really trust in Guillaume's judgment. And then we're happy with it, because afterwards a distributor took the project, and everything is going to be working for this project, I think.
I think a great thing about Producer is that you come back with a strong project. And I think our project was very strong after Producer, because we also talked about the synopsis, the treatment, the pitch, so and the production and script, but everything. Other workshops are maybe only for script writing, and the script can be great, but if the project is not great, it's difficult to finance the movie. So I think when we got out of Producer, we had we worked a lot to have a good project, and then the project got financed because it was a good project, I think.
You said if you can have a good script, but if the project isn't strong, it won't get financed. What do you mean by that?
Because in many funds, they only they receive a lot of projects, and probably they start with the synopsis. If the synopsis is not well written, then they won't get to the script. Same goes with treatment, and same goes with production. The things of production, the financing must be according to the project, to the film you have. So it's a good an entire package, and I think it's very competitive. Funds are very competitive, so every part of your project must be strong. Not only the script writing, or not only the director's biography or producer's biography or cast, and realizing that, I think it helped us a lot with Utama, and I think it gave us a know-how, and we're applying it the same for future projects. We're working in the same way.
So tell me about Utama, and the idea for it, and what the journey of the film has been.
We'll have a world premiere in the next year. We cannot reveal it yet, but it will be a good world premiere in 22. But we won 3 prizes in the work in progress section in Toulouse, in Cine en Construction. So that really gave a really good boost to the film. We were happy that was the first time that we were showing the film. and thanks to those awards, we also got to finish it. And
so, what other workshops have you been involved with apart from Produire au Sud?
I was in Cuenca, in Ecuador, for a script workshop with great tutors, and Santiago was in a post lab. And I think that was it, right?
Yeah, they were the only ones, yes.
Because we also stopped applying. I think the project didn't need more labs, and I think that's also a good, wise thing to realize when you're developing a movie. When you have enough, you have to know when you have got enough feedbacks.
Sure. Yeah. Otherwise, it could become completely diluted, your original idea. Yeah. Okay. So, if you were to describe Produire au Sud in just a couple of words, each of you, if you just just choosing a phrase or a couple of words to describe it, what would you say and why?
For me, it's a good landing and launching platform, because you land and you awake of the reality of your project, and then it helps you to launch it into becoming a movie.
Like on a trampoline or something like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
For me, it was challenging.
And why?
Because you have to make your project grow and take the most you can from the workshop, and take all that ideas and things you heard, and then build a stronger project.
I understand. Challenging in a really productive way, putting pressure on you to bring the best out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, guys. It's been a real
Thank
pleasure
you,
to speak
Julia.
with you. And it's really kind of you to set aside the time.